Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this one we are going to look at how we can wrap a texture around a shape and do some basic UV mapping. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'm starting with the usual blank blend scene. We've got the cube and I'm going to delete the cube straight away on this case, and I'm going to add a cylinder. So I'm going to just turn on screencast keys so you can see what I'm clicking. Okay. I'm going to press Shift and A to add. I'm going to add a cylinder. There we go. There's our cylinder. I'm going to just move it up so it's at the top of the line, which will make sense in a little while. Oops, wrong way. So there we go. I've just moved it up so it's on top of our ground plane. And I need to make it a little bit taller. I'm just roughly guessing the proportions for now. But there we go. That'll do for our little cylinder. I'm going to roughly make the texture itself. So if I the shape of the can. So I'm going to press Tab to enter edit mode. I'm going to click on the face select tool. I'm going to click on this top face. I'm just going to come into the front view. Zoom in a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to press E to extrude, S to scale to bring that in a little bit. I'm going to press E to extrude again, but this time I'm going to just bring it down a little bit. So there we go, I've got our little can. It's not perfect, it's just a quick rough thing. I'm going to come down to underneath as well, so I'm still on face select, click underneath. I'm going to press I to insert. I to insert's a little bit like extrude, so yeah, but it just keeps it on the same plane. So now I'm just going to move this up a little bit. And this is the tool I quite like, and this is not needed because we won't even see this. But if I press Ctrl and B, it lets me bevel the edge. So if I and I'm using the wheel mouse now, and it kind of gives a little curved underneath. This is just in case we do at any point ever see it. Okay, so I think that'll do. It's not great, but it will do. So I'm just going to press Tab to come out of edit mode. So now I want to texture it. Well, if you notice, I can see all these lines. If I right click and just say shade smooth, it smooths it out a little bit so we can't see it. Don't like the top though. That's not a problem. I'm going to come to this side, click on our data tool, come down to where it says normals, and just tick the auto smooth. And I'll leave it the default 30. There we go, it looks a little bit better. Okay, now the next bit, we need an actual texture. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can go onto an image search and you can look for a can texture. So say something like this, where you've got the main label and you've got the top and bottom of the can. You could even grab a baked bean can sort of texture. You could look for some of the bits of textures going off. You could also go into Photoshop or other paint program and sort of make your own. That's what I've done. So you could get a can, take a photo of it or stick it on a scanner, and then just make up your own label. And this is what I'm going to use for this example. So I'm going to click on our little texture tool, material, press new. I'm going to come down to where it says base color, click on the yellow dot where I'm going to say image texture, open. So I've already sort of got my picture saved. I've already created a folder called can, and here's my picture. So I'm going to go onto my UTC can texture PNG. I've got the PNG and the Photoshop. Not sure if there are any benefits or pros and cons to either, but I'll stick with PNG for file size for the moment. Okay, so I've now got the image. Now we can't see it because of the render mode we're in. So I come up here, that's just viewport shading solid. If I click on the next one, it's now got the image on, but it's all over the place. It's not where we need to be. So I'm going to come over to UV editing, and we can now see what it's sort of doing. We've got some wireframe here, so it's split our windows. Now what I like to do is drag this over, turn this into texture mode so I can see what's happening, shrink it down a little bit. Now if I come to the side view, so I'm going to do the side first, there's another button I want to press. This makes it a little bit easier. If I press this button up here, it lets it go semi-transparent and X-ray mode. And now I can use, I'm just going to press B to box select, and that now selects all of the cylinder all the way around. If you don't do the X-ray, you'll only select the half you can see. So now I've got the cylinder. So I'm moving over to this window. I'm just going to press A to select all. Oops, no, I don't want that. I'm going to come back to this window. I'm going to press U to unwrap. So if I press unwrap, I don't like that either. I'm going to press U again, and we'll go cylinder projection. Still don't like that. I'm not happy with what it's doing here. Let's play about with some of the other ones. Still not happy with that. Okay, let's try again, see what we can do. So if I just deselect everything and try one more time, I'm just going to select all of it, press U to unwrap. Okay, so again, sometimes when unwrapping, it's a case of just playing about a little bit. So if I just, again, press B to select all of them, So I've not got the top or the bottom selected. I press U, cylinder projection, and it's now given me this whole top and bottom cylinder. So if I press A, select all on this window, I should be able to say SY for scale Y. Bring this down a little bit. I'm just going to grab and move it down a little bit. S and Y again, see if I can get about the right height. I'm not worried about perfection today. SX for scale X. Okay, that's probably about right. I'm pressing G to grab and moving it around a little bit. If I want to spend more time, I could make it so it was absolutely perfect, but that'll do for now. If I spin on this window, it's pretty much intact. Okay, I'm now going to come to the top view. I can turn the X-ray off now, I think. In fact, no, I'm going to do something else first. I'm going to come to this top view. Well, zoom in a little bit. I'm now going to just select outside. I'm just going to press the box select again. So I'm just selecting this top little rim part. And we can see it's done something a bit weird up there, so I'm just going to press U to unwrap again. This won't really matter in the slightest because I'm going to select it all, scale down, and just sort of stick it over this bit of grey. So now I've got it sort of just reflecting that bit of metal. I'm going to come to the top one, select on that middle pane. I'm not happy with that shape, so I'm going to come to the top view, 7. I'm going to press U to unwrap again, and I now get a perfect circle on this side. So I'm going to press A again, select all. I'm going to press S to scale. Grab and move it over a little bit, S to scale again, zoom in a little bit, grab, G to grab, and that's probably okay. I'm just going to scale it in a little bit more. Okay, so now when I just press out of edit mode, we should have got a can that is, it's okay, it's not amazing, but if it was in the distance in a little game, it's alright. Okay, I could do the same thing underneath now. I could come to the bottom, could see it's all a bit jumbled, so I'm just going to press Ctrl 7. That brings me to the bottom view. I'm just going to press shade select. No, that's fine. Click on it, pressing tab to enter edit mode, and we can see all these things I've not selected. So now I'm going to press C to select. I'm just going to try and grab all of this, everything I can see. I suppose I could have done box select as well. I'm a bit concerned I might have selected the side view. This is a bit clumsy of me, but it'll do. Okay, I'm just going to press escape, stop selecting. Okay, so also, that's the mistake I made. I'm going to click just outside it. Shouldn't have done that. So 7 view again. Let's just press B to box select. Hopefully I'll just select the bottom half. Nope, it's me making mistakes. I'm rushing. I'm going to untick the X-ray button. That was the mistake I was making. Untick the X-ray. Try one more time. I do these mistakes on purpose so you can see how it might be done. There we go. It's selected just the bottom. So again, I can just move this window outside. I can just press U to unwrap, and again press A to select all, scale it down and stick it over the metal. We've now got a can fully textured. Okay, so it's not amazing, but it will do, and that's how we can UV unwrap. And just while I'm on textures, if you saw my opening animation, I had a checkerboard on the floor. To do that, I press Shift and A, add a mesh, add a plane. I can S to scale this up a little bit. So I'm just going to come back into layout view. So so you saw me add the plane. I've scaled it up a little bit. I'm going to come onto our materials, new material, base colour. I'm going to choose the checker texture. That's quite big, so I'm just going to scale 10. Quite like that. I could change the colours a little bit if I wanted to. Okay, so there we go. I've got a nice little checkerboard. If I press F12 to render it, so it's got a shadow but no reflection. Now what you can do, and this is, you can stop here by the way, you can go and play about with your UV textures, but before you do that, don't forget to like and subscribe. What I'm going to do is to make the render a bit better quality, I can click on the camera and choose cycles instead. And if I press, I'm going to change this to GPU because I've got a reasonable graphics card. Now this is still very slow, but the quality of the final render is much better. But I forgot to do a few extra little bits and pieces. To improve it even more, I can go onto the web again. I can go to polyhaven.com and I've clicked on HDRIs, and then I've gone to Studio and I can download a Studio HDRI. So I can just go download, it's a 4K rated texture, and then when I'm on my world settings, I've chosen background. I can choose colour, and from here I believe I can choose environment texture. I always forget these little bits. I can choose environment texture. So I can press open, go into my folder where I've already saved it, and there's this small studio. As soon as I press open, it should put us an image in the background, but I'm not seeing it. There we go. We can now see I've got this background image, and that itself will give us some lighting into the scene. Because I'm on cycles, it's going a little bit slower. Just to speed it up a little bit, I'll flick back to Eevee. So we can still see the images there. Okay, I'm also, I'll flick back to cycles, I'm also going to make the checkerboard reflective. So I've clicked on the checkerboard, going back to materials, and down here I can just say, let's make it more metallic. Let's take the roughness out of it. And we should start to get a little bit of a reflection. I mean, you can see it's going a bit slower now, but that's how we can now make a much nicer quality image with a bit more photorealism. Not perfect, obviously, because I've kind of rushed this. Okay, so what I'd urge you to do is go and have a go at this. Go and unwrap a texture, add a nice HDRI in the background. You can choose lots of different scenes, and it can really make your image stand out. And if we just look, that's what the camera can see. So when I press F12, it'll slowly render it. The warning thing is this is now a lot slower. So it's already saying this is going to be taking somewhere in the region of sort of 10-12 minutes to actually render it fully, but the quality is really good. Okay, I shall see you in the next tutorial where we'll look at how to give it a very basic rig that will make it dance. Okay, see you next time.